Hey, I'm Micki,
I am Kat.
and we are Cat and Mouse Astrology. And this is the new moon in Leo in late July of 2022, part two. Because we already did part one, which was about Jupiter and where
Jupiter and Aries,
Jupiter and Aries.
trining the new moon. Yeah.
Beautiful Jupiter and Aries. Yeah, beautiful trine. So we talked about that one, but there's another part to this moon, and it's, this is something that's building and it's going to continue to build for a while. So we'll talk about it more at the full moon because it'll culminate and over the next couple of weeks. So, but right now, just to kind of give an introduction to what's going on, I will share our screen. And we are still in July 28th. This is the moon expanding our spotlight in the world. That big old Leo, sun and moon there. But we looked at the new opportunity to shine our light in the Aries areas where Jupiter is. But there's also this potential for angry words that can be stopped or that could be put an end to. We could put an end to things with some language we use or communication, and that might turn a corner. So I get to that because of our, and I didn't circle it here, but Mercury here at 18 degrees, and then it's moving into this conjunction with Mars and the North Node and Uranus, and all that coming into a conjunction with a square with, and an opposition, a square and an opposition with Saturn. So we're moving into a place of a T-square. And this is going to have an interesting hit as Mercury first hits Mars, then hits the node, and then hits Uranus, or vice versa in the case, as the case may be. And then a little bit later, in a couple of weeks, we'll have the sun doing the moon doing the same thing and hitting all of these with the sun at Saturn.
Yeah.
What we're moving into. And it's just over the next couple of weeks that we're going to have this kind of intense energy building. So let's take a look at the Sabian symbols for some of this. There's maybe a question for the positive side with Jupiter. How do we shine our light bigger while restraining or cutting off negative communication? That might be a personal way that we would interpret these two things happening at the same time. Depending on where this happens in your, in your life. Where is this going on in your chart? Where's Taurus for you? Where's Leo for you? Where's Aquarius for you? So something to think about here. So, the moon represents our emotions. The sun is our ego and our illumination. And we've already talked about how in Leo, that with being trine Jupiter in Aries gives us an opportunity for a new beginning, illuminating, what did I call that? Fortunity? Opportunity, fortunity. There's a fortunate opportunity there, and I think that word has been conflated. So do you want to talk a little bit about those symbols, those positive symbols? I got two of them. What do you think?
Well, which is 5? The rock formation or the
rock formation is actually 5.
Okay. So it can be either. The rock formation towers over a deep canyon or a concert or a conservative. Or a conservative old-fashioned lady is confronted by a hippie girl. So this is some sort of change. Rock formation towering over a deep canyon is about long-term change with the wind and the water and like just the changes over time and the depths that the elements can bring to us or bring us to.
And that fits maybe more because we're, as we talked about in the last video, we're moving into this, this Jupiter stationing. It's at its most powerful right now when it's stationing. And it's moving back to a very powerful degree where it's going to station again at 28, 29 degrees of Pisces.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to hang out for a long time, right at the very end of Pisces, the very beginning of Aries again.
Mm-hmm.
So deja vu all over again. I think this is a very powerful symbology here. So I think you're right. Maybe rock formation is more fitting than the 6 degrees
Yeah.
Sabian symbol. What do you think about the Aries?
The Aries is a very Jupiter. It's a very Jupiter symbol. A man succeeds in expressing himself simultaneously in two realms. It's very Jupiter, new moon, and Leo trine. You know, be bold and expressive and creative and do it in multiple places in multiple ways.
Yeah, yeah, excellent. And as we talked about in that last video, wherever this is going on, if it's your first house, second house, third house, this might be the place where you don't want to hold back.
Yeah.
There's
Aries is don't hold back.
Don't hold back. Where Mars is going on, where Saturn's going on, that's a place of constriction, restriction, maybe cutting off. But where Jupiter's going on, that's push forward and move out.
Right. And Jupiter is riding with Chiron at the moment. So all the more reason to be proactive.
Yeah, exactly. So let's get into the more unpleasant stuff here. It doesn't have to be unpleasant. I'll get into what I'm going to do with the energy. Again, it's a keto. How do you take the energy and use it in the way that's best for you in this time period? It doesn't last forever.
Yeah.
But we've got Mars in Taurus. So, Mars is in a fixed sign. Have to be in a fixed sign when you want to move forward as quickly as you possibly can. Mars will be soon moving into Gemini. That's more like, the arrow going, flying through the air. So
right.
in Taurus, there's it's hard for Mars to be slow and plodding.
It's very much like being in a blizzard and having to muffle against the storm.
Oh, yeah.
For Mars to be in Taurus.
Right. Exactly.
Which is the symbol for Mars in Taurus right now, 15 Taurus, a head covered with a rakish silk hat, muffled against the cold. A man braves a storm. I feel like Mars is heading into a storm.
I think you've got it. I think you've nailed it right there. Mars is heading into a storm. Yeah. And because it's going to conjunct this surprise, this explosion, this rebellion, this technology. Uranus often gets, a bad rap because it's, whoa, suddenly something changes. But sometimes when we look at back in history at what's changing with Uranus, it's the invention of smartphones or, a new technology that, Twitter or Facebook or one of these sorts of things that, in the long term may have some real negative impacts. We may be, in dealing with the technology, which is not always perfect in our lives, but the invention of the technology is sometimes really exciting and can be really beneficial, at least in the short term and sometimes in the long term too.
Yeah, there's good and bad to everything.
Say again?
There's good and bad to everything,
Right.
Like we can complain about social media, but there's good that's come out of it too.
So Mars hitting Uranus could be, the energy to some new technology, in addition to being the spark for a rebellion.
Right. And the way that it's interacting with Mercury and Leo makes me feel like there's a confrontation of ideas that's going to be coming to the surface that needs to be aired out, because that's the symbol that we have for Uranus and the North Node, is a woman airing an old bag through an open window.
Yeah. And isn't that fascinating? Looking at it first in a maybe geopolitical way, that's happening both on the global level and in, the United States. We've got Mars, Putin invading very close to NATO and European countries, and certainly having an impact on Europe. You know,
Mhm.
the Saturn Uranus square that is happening in its relationship with Mars,
Yeah.
says kind of like, I understand from, the Gazpro or whatever, the gas company has just shut off Europe, got them down to trickle. So, and it's not just that, there's other ways that Mars and Saturn, the energy to go is Mars, literally the energy to run your car. And if somebody says, no, we're turning off the spigot, no more gas for you, you just lost the energy to run your car, and there's a big stop sign that's happening, right there. So there's kind of an angry, confused element to this configuration as well.
It's like the masculine authority figure is angry and confused.
Yeah.
Yeah. then we've got the feminine and the repressed feminine, like, oh, really?
Right. And there is something really, really down there. Let's unpack this one at a time, because I did come up with what I thought was the fighting words can propel us into a changed future.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
There is an opportunity that this change that we are being propelled to, which is actually going to culminate here with the
October. Okay.
Uranus square Saturn, which is going to be exact at 18 degrees, October 1st through 11th. But really, they're going to be at 18 degrees for a really long time.
Oh, wow.
That's 10 days at 18 degrees.
Wow.
And did I put 18 degrees down here? Yeah, there we go. A man's secret motives are being publicly unmasked.
Damn. So that's coming up in October.
Right. So that made me think about both the January 6th hearings, that's essentially unmasking a man's secret motives.
Yeah.
And then whatever we learn about what's going on in Ukraine. And, there's a symbology change, because this big bear sitting down and waving its paws, and this airing of the open bag through the open window.
And Uranus, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, there is an exposing that's going on, and perhaps a healing by airing out.
Yeah. A man's secret motives are being publicly unmasked. Maybe we'll learn more about what these forced birthers really have in mind with their, like, let's ban contraceptions too.
Yeah, that's the weirdest thing, isn't it? It's just the weirdest thing in the world.
They're so convinced they're right.
It's interesting. The other configuration, that the Neptune.
What's Neptune up to?
Well, Neptune is sextile Pluto.
Oh, beautiful. Right. Okay.
So, there's some deep, dark subterfuge going on potentially here in our lives personally and in the outer world.
Right.
And then, as you pointed out, we've got this practical conjunction between Black Moon and Venus, where, I don't know, what do you think of that?
It's in Cancer.
Yeah.
It feels like where we are as uterus bearers in this country, like needing to have our own power and needing to resist the repression that Mars and Saturn are trying to force upon us.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's an interesting turning of the corner. Right. The square in my mind always represents a turning of the corner that can be very difficult sometimes. And this is a big turning of the corner, because, again, this is a grand cross. we've got with the node across here, and the void is where all everything is being projected into the void.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you've got planets over here, particularly in Scorpio, they're getting hit. You know, this is going to have an impact, especially if you had anything over here between, you know, 20, 23 degrees of Scorpio all the way down to 12 degrees of Scorpio. I would say you're getting a lot of projection from what's going on here with this.
Ooh,
You
that
probably know
seems,
more than anybody what this is about in your life.
oh, that seems like it'd be so uncomfortable.
Right.
Apologies to Scorpio stellium people.
Yeah. Yeah. And I saw something about, you know, the words of the king, or the emotional words of the king being exposed or being stopped. There's something preventing something from moving forward here in this opposition.
Yeah, I can see that.
And this could, you know, could be somebody's, you know, who's the king in your life, or, you know, who's the sun figure in your life.
Well, hopefully it's yourself.
For some people, it's going to be themselves. For some people, it might represent somebody else in their life here. That, you know, the Mars is more, you know, a likelihood of that. But I think, you know, any of these can be interpreted as a relationship.
Yeah, I feel like the Mars, and this could just be because I'm a Leo myself, and that Mercury is like right at my Mercury. I feel like it would be like the self is the king trying to express themselves in multiple realms with that Jupiter. But then there's someone else in your life that's the Mars person, and they're got this big fucking hat on because it's cold and they're braving a storm and they can't hear what you're saying.
Yeah, that pulls it back to our terminology. And then we have Saturn, you know, in the sign of the people, or in the sign of, you know, maybe what's allowed by law or by convention, or what people do.
Right, the collective.
Maybe, you know, that big old Leonian, I want to do my own thing and be my own person, is in some way being opposed by, hey, you're not supposed to do that.
Right. Well, I mean, that's the reproductive rights issue in a nutshell.
There you go. In a nutshell. Wow. What else do we see that we want to unpack here with this? Again, the Mars is going to conjunct Uranus, surprise, explosion, rebellion, technology, and the North Node, which is where we're headed, our aspirations, maybe where we're gobbling up, moving towards, you know, there could be insatiability with, you know, our desires here. And of course, we've got a square going on that was exact on July the 26th with Mercury in Leo. So somehow Mercury is communicating this issue. You know, we did just have, it just came out that Merrick Garland for the first time said that there is going to be potentially consequences for higher ups in the January 6th thing. People have been waiting for this for a long time. That's kind of a big deal there. And I wonder if that,
a year and a half later, maybe there'll be consequences.
Maybe there'll be consequences.
Maybe. We're not used to holding our own accountable though, so.
Oh, it's so difficult. Yeah, I mean, it's much easier to hold uterus bearers accountable than it is.
That's right. We're just generally poor people.
Right. So I'm curious because this Mars return coming into Gemini is a Mars return for me as well as the US.
Okay.
So the US Mars is at 22 degrees. Mine's at 19. So my Mars is almost conjunct the US Mars within 3 degrees.
Fun.
And this transiting Mars is going to come up and go, and it's going to be here for seven months.
Oh, God.
It's not, it's going to be here intensely. Again, through the 1st through the 11th of October, it's going to be at 18 degrees of Gemini. Can you look up 18 degrees of Gemini?
Yeah, give me a second.
That one's going to be, I'm just curious about that for my own personal sake. And anybody's going to be feeling this in their Gemini house. If you're having a Mars return, like the United States is, you know, that's going to be rather intense too. I'm going to use it for writing because Gemini is the sign of communication, and Mars can be used to energize, you know, harness the wind, harness the pen. So I'm literally going to take a writing retreat during this Mars period, during the Mars retrograde part time.
18 Gemini, a large archaic volume reveals traditional wisdom.
Bam, baby.
Oh,
Gotta write an astrology book. So see, yeah, that's what I'm doing with this energy. That's my practice of Aikido, is to see if I can make that Mars be the most positive energy I can in Gemini by harnessing it to help me write.
Gemini. 18
Yeah.
Gemini is for channeling ancient wisdom and writing it down.
That's it.
All right.
All right. What are you gonna do with it?
Remember that, Micki.
I'm good at, where's your Gemini? What house is it for you?
It's my 3rd house. It's got no planets in it.
Yeah, but this is, the Mars is still going to be there for 7 months, energizing your 3rd house.
Yeah.
So you'll be doing a lot of, do you have kids that are going to be going back and forth to like baseball practice or something?
No, my kids don't do fun things like that.
Suddenly you're going to be doing a whole lot of, you know, like long distance travel.
I thought that was short distance, Gemini.
Oh yeah, but it's your 3rd house. That's right. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So hopefully I'll just be making some progress on my cabin in the woods.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Get to know your neighbors.
Yeah.
I
I do need to get to know those neighbors better. They're like, when are you coming down again? We want to grill you some dinner.
Invite your siblings.
Uh-huh.
Have a little 3rd house gathering at your cabin.
Yeah.
Use that Mars energy. Come on, you guys, help put up the barn.
Right? I need a deck. That's what I need. Need people to come put up a deck.
So this, you know, again, I think we can use this energy really positively. And anything else you want to add? Did we look at all the Sabian symbols?
I think we looked at the important ones.
I think we did. That's
I think
right.
that airing out is really going to be pretty crucial.
Right. It is definitely going to be really crucial to do our airing out.
Do your airing out, everybody.
Air it out. Clean out the cobwebs in the closet and in your consciousness.
That's right.
Clear out the cobwebs. Use your Mars energy in Gemini the best way you can.
Yeah.
And
that's a ways away though. That's October.
No, Mars goes into Gemini August 20th.
Oh, right before my birthday.
And stays there until January.
Dang. Okay.
So we're talking about this now because Mars is right now moving into the square with Saturn Uranus, and the Saturn Uranus is perfecting up through October. Saturn and Uranus will perfect. So we're getting a buildup of energy that's not really going to dissipate until after Mars leaves Gemini in January and goes into Cancer, in which case everybody's going to go, oh, what a relief.
Yeah, right.
Right.
I feel like we've been having Mars square Saturn for like 4 years now.
Yeah, you mean Uranus square Saturn?
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it is.
Okay.
It's because Mars has been involved in this. And you're right, it has. It's been since 2020.
Yeah, it's been hitting again and again and again. And it's like, oh God, this Mars Saturn crap.
Right. Because remember, it was March of 2020 that Mars spent 6 months in Aries.
Oh, yeah.
So that's why, you know, this Jupiter here right now and I don't know how this has any impact on COVID, but that's when COVID hit.
Yeah.
We had 6 months of hell in 2020. And then a lot of astrologers have tracked that Mars, the intensity of the Mars, you know, when Mars peaks in certain places, like it's going to in Gemini, it seems to have had an impact on the pandemic.
Mm.
So I don't know. I mean, I don't know anything about how that'll impact it. It is an air sign, Gemini.
Yeah.
But I don't want to speculate on that. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah.
But Mars is an intense factor that's added to this square with Uranus and Saturn. So we don't really get beyond this for, you know, a number of months. Yeah.
Months.
So, but it's a big turning point. And again, the energy can be harnessed. We can learn to use it in our own personal lives, and we can learn to, you know, block and find ways to channel the energy that helps to, you know, keep everything more copacetic.
Yeah. So what's our generic advice or take on this new moon today for the next 2 weeks?
I say focus on the positive things that you are able to shine your light on.
Yeah.
And shine positivity on, and spend your energy in the most positive way you can, while not putting on the blinders to the reality of the problems that you may be dealing with wherever Taurus is for you, where that Mars is right now, and wherever Mercury is for you, which is wherever Gemini is, because that's Leo. I'll get it right. Leo, Mercury is in Leo. So that's what's in square right now, is the Mercury Mars configuration is in square. So it's, you know,
but the moon is trine Jupiter.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's the talking about the problems that is itself maybe a problem.
Yes, that is often the case. It's not so much talking past each other. I'll say one thing, and then the other person will say something that's not really related, like they didn't even hear what I said. Yeah.
That's why I'm like, as much as we can, to stay focused on the Jupiter and Aries. And, you know, then we just deal in the best way possible with whatever's going on in Taurus and Leo.
Yeah. I say focus on what creative projects you want to bring to life, and be incredibly conscientious about your words.
Perfect. Be incredibly conscientious about your words. Absolutely. Yeah. That's perfect, Kat. I love that.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for joining us again. We'll see you at the full moon.
Yeah.
Aquarius.
Good luck.
Take care, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.